Good morning, folks. So we're going to start our next project in Art 1 that has to do with observational drawing. And the plan today, in addition to doing the art talk, is to start working on that. So what I've done here for our remote learners is I've put in the worksheet for you to do, which I'm going to show you, and also a handout and the rubric for the project. And this is the video to help you get started. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my visualizer here, and I want to show you this. This is the worksheet. And this worksheet is going to help us get going here because we're going to be using line, we're going to be using shape, we're going to be using positive, negative space, we're going to be using specifically when it comes to line, contour line. We're going to be using proportions and value. And this is designed to just kind of get that rolling. So the first thing that you're going to do here is create as many different kinds of lines as you possibly can on here. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit silly, but it's just kind of loosening up your hand a little bit. The second thing to do is to make as many different kinds of shapes as you can think of. Now there's two kinds of shapes. There's geometric and then there's organic. Your geometric shapes are going to be the shapes that have names. Your organic shapes are the ones that don't specifically have names, but you might see in the sky like clouds, or you might refer to something as a dog shape or a tree shape, things that are found in nature. The next thing here is to redraw this lava lamp, and I use the term contour line. You've been using contour line your entire life. You may not have even known it, but a contour line is the defining edge that you use as you're drawing. So you're just going to redraw this lava lamp. Number 4 asks you to identify the positive and the negative space, and just do that by arrows. Now, the positive space in any piece of artwork is going to be your subject. So in this case, it would be the lava lamp. The negative space is always the space that's outside, above, below, around, anything like that. Okay, so then you just draw a line to identify that. Next up, proportions. Okay, this is my little big head boy, and I'd like you to redraw him using more correct proportions. He's very cartoony, he's stylized. Do your best, but try to draw him so that his proportions are a little bit better. Okay? This last part here is asking you to create a value scale. Now, if you've never created a value scale starts with white and it ends in black, and it's all shades in between. Now, I've given you a pencil, if you're working remotely, in your portfolio. It should either be a 6B or an 8B. An ebony pencil is the same as an 8B. Now, typically, when you take bubble tests, you might be familiar with the number 2 pencil. If there is an H involved in the number, H pencils tend to be harder, and it's the composition of clays and graphites that actually make the graphite in the pencil. So you have to press harder to get a darker line. If you are working with a pencil that has a B in it, or a number that goes up with the B, you're working with a softer lead, so it smudges easier. So you're going to be working with a pencil that does smudge pretty easily. Now, whether you want to start with the black and go really, really dark and then go a little bit lighter, 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 all the way down, you can do that, or start light and go dark. It doesn't matter. But you also want to use your blending stick, and that is that white, it almost looks like a pencil that's sharpened at both ends. You can use your sandpaper to sand it down a little bit and then use it to blend in these boxes, and that's going to be important. So this is the first step. The second step is to start working on this project, which is all about observational drawing, with the one thing that everybody has in pairs, your shoe. Okay? So really the point here is you're going to be using value and you're going to be using proportions. Okay? Proportions are a size relationship when you compare them against something. And value is that lighter darkness of a color or a shade. In this case, we'll be using shades. Now, in order to draw everything, you have to be able to learn to break things down into shapes and really look at them. Okay? So for this project, you're going to be creating a value scale on the worksheet that I just showed you. You're going to create a drawing of your shoe using your blending stick and observational skills to show attention to capturing that overall shape, proportions, and level of value. And I also want you to consider the connection between observational drawing and maybe marketing or graphic design as you look at this, because we love our shoes. We love things that look good. So you're going to have your pencil, you're going to have your eraser. Some of you may have gotten, like I said, a 6B or an 8B. Your eraser, a blending stick. The newsprint is actually your sketchbook, and you'll start off in your sketchbook making at least 3 sketches of your shoe. You can turn it and manipulate it in different ways, and if you want to do 4 or more, you absolutely can. So the first thing, complete the worksheet. Then you're going to start sketching your shoe. Okay, and I'm going to take off my shoe here for a second. My shoe, when I look at it, it is a Skechers, and it's got some interesting design to it. So if I were to start sketching this, and I've got my drawing paper right here, okay, you want to decide which way you're going to manipulate your shoe, from which way you might look at it. So just for the sake of putting this under my visualizer, I might try to draw it like this. So if I were to do that, and you can draw it as, you know, you want to, when you do your final drawing, you want to get it to the size of the paper, but when you just start, you know, take a look at the shape of the shoe. Well, I've got, and I'm going to use my ebony pencil here so it's a little bit darker for you. I've got kind of a rounding in here that's happening, and it kind of comes up, and then it comes in a little bit, straightens out just a hair, comes over a little bit. Now for your view and for the sake of this video, it's a bird's eye view, okay? So this is kind of the shape that I'm getting, all right? Now I might try to draw that inside here, which I think is going to start about here, and it's going to narrow that line a little bit because this is where my foot's going in, okay? And it's very hard to see in the video, but there is, you know, some laces that kind of come down this way. So as sort of a first sketch, this isn't bad, just to get us started. I'm not looking for all the details, but when you figure out what view of the shoe you're going to do as a final sketch, you're going to want to go in and figure out, okay, where am I seeing the value? Where is it darker? Where is it lighter? Even the darkest of shoes is going to have some dark and some light spots. So something that's helpful is actually shining a light in one direction on your shoe, and that will give you some lights and darks, okay? So when you start 3 sketches, 4 is even better, of your shoe, and then you can get started working on your final and really work up that value, okay? That's the goal. As you're working on it, if you want to talk to me about it a little bit, just to see, you know, how am I doing, suggestions, I'm always happy to take a look at anything you've got going, okay? So we're hopeful, we'll kind of see, we're hopeful that maybe these can be finished up by Friday. That way when we come back from vacation, we can start on a fresh project, all right? But do the best you can, and definitely email me if you have any questions, okay? Have a great day, folks.